Welcome to D Holloway's Midlife Takeover, where it's never too late to pursue life on your own terms and time because you absolutely deserve it. All right, so let's get into this video. As I've mentioned in some previous videos, I watch a lot of videos on financial education, and it does not matter to me if you're young, you're old, big, you're tall, you're white, black, Asian, you're Latino. It doesn't matter to me. If you post a video about financial education and the topic catches my eye, I'm probably going to give it a shot and listen to it. Because there's a lot of people out there who are giving some great advice. And I know it's great advice because I've implemented it in my life and it's worked for me. And then there's some people who I know are just out here putting out some garbage information. I don't listen to just one particular person who supposedly has all of the answers to all financial education questions. Now, I will admit that I have a natural propensity to gravitate toward certain videos of people that look like me and look like they've lived on this earth for more than 40 years. One thing that I noticed that I'm starting to see from the Black YouTubers in the financial education or self-development niche is they talk a lot about the shortcomings of Black people and particularly Black women. It's like they're auditioning to become the next Black conservative contributor on Fox News. When I come across these videos, I'll give it a quick listen until, my ignorance meter is exceeded. Then I'll go to the comments because I know that there are going to be some Black people who are going to go in on this nonsense. And to my surprise, and what appears to be Black men and women commenting, is that they are co-signing on this dumb shit. As I mentioned, I listen to white people, Latino, Asian, and so forth. And I don't think I've ever heard one of them do a video where they are talking about the shortcomings of other Latino people or the shortcomings of other white people or Asian people. But in Black YouTube, that seems to be the ticket. Talk down about Black people and talk down about Black women. And let me give you a few examples of what I'm talking about. One of the familiar things that I hear these people say is that Black culture is trash. Now, that's a pretty broad statement to make, considering that we may all be Black, but we all have different experiences and come from different backgrounds. Take me, for example. I'm from the poor country. I'm not from the inner city hood. I ain't never been a gangbanger. I ain't never killed anybody. I ain't never robbed anybody at gunpoint. I ain't never sold dope. My kids didn't all go to Jack and Jill. They didn't all go to private school, and they didn't graduate from Harvard and Yale. My wife is Black. She has a PhD. I have a master's degree. We know other professionals who are lawyers, engineers, real estate investors, therapists, as well as other blue-collar professionals who earn a good living. Maybe, just maybe, the people that y'all are hanging around with are trash. Maybe you need to up your game and get around some people who are not trash. I know that there's nothing magical about me, so if I can avoid trash people, I know you can too. There are a lot of Black YouTubers who do not have much use for Black women for some reason. They say Black women are too loud, too aggressive, too difficult to handle. I'm like, shit, I know a bunch of dudes like that I've ran across in my lifetime. So quick side story. We had this homeboy in the crew when we were younger and going out to clubs and stuff like that. And he would always try to skirt the rules on the dress code, knowing that we've been to this place, we know what the dress code is, but always trying to skirt the rules, just being difficult, right? So we get there, and of course, they would stop him and tell him, hey, you can't get in because you don't meet the dress code. And then he'd look at us, and then we convene, and he'd start mumbling about, man, these people tripping, yada, yada, yada. And then he started talking about, man, I should blow this place up, man. And we would all just roll our eyes because it seemed like that happened every other weekend. Point is, y'all have a lot of homies who are difficult, but yet y'all still out here rocking with them and all their nonsense. I personally think what's happening is that you have a lot of horrible human beings out there, right? Who they see somebody who is co-signing on some stupid nonsense, and it makes them feel vindicated that, oh man, I'm okay. I'm all good for thinking like this, because they want to be able to treat women any kind of way, not be held accountable. And if somebody's trying to hold you accountable, then they're the ones who are being difficult. I think when you're in a relationship with anybody, you're going to have your ups and downs, you're going to have your blow ups, your dust ups, but you work through all of that stuff. It's not like the person is just being difficult. And it's not like this only pertains to Black women. Didn't y'all just see this white woman chasing Jonathan Majors down the street? Now, there are certain Black YouTubers who are particularly hard on single mothers. Man, they are dogging these women like for real. Basically, if you're a single mom, a dude got to be a simp to be messing around with you and taking care of some other dude's family. It is the most retarded thing that I've ever heard. and I know I'm not supposed to be using the term retarded. I grew up in a family where my oldest brother is not the biological son of our dad, right? But we all grew up in the same household, and there's a total of 7 of us, with him being the oldest. And I can tell you this as a fact. There was zero difference between us. There is zero difference in what I think of him. He is my older brother. I ain't never called him my half brother. I ain't never heard the term stepdaddy used in our household. The boy is my brother, period. His daddy is my daddy, period. There seems to be this growing message that it's a bad deal for dudes if you get with a woman who has a child, because taking care of another man's child is stupid. If you want to say having kids is a bad deal, I can get on board with that, because the little bastard is expensive whether you help make them or not. It is one of the most selfish and most ignorant things that I've ever heard of. So let's say that a woman gets married and her and her husband have children, but into the marriage, the husband decides that he wants a boyfriend. She ain't cool with that, so they divorce. Now, you're telling me that the woman should be penalized by never having a good dude who has a career and good finances pursue her because she has a child already? That is dumb. Meanwhile, the dude can go on and get married again to a woman with no children, or go find him another dude and they adopt a child and continue on with his lovely life. Do you know how stupid that sounds? My wife was divorced with 2 kids and taking care of her family when I came along. Now we're married, we have 1 kid together, but all 3 of them are the same to me. I'm actually a little mad about the youngest one, because if it wasn't for him, I would have everybody grown and out of my pocket by now. And there are certain achievements where Black women are actually outpacing Black men. Out of all the bachelor's degrees earned by African Americans, Black women are obtaining 2/3 of those degrees. They're obtaining 70% of all the master's degrees earned by Black men and women, and 60% of the PhDs earned by all Black men and women. That's a key achievement, because generally speaking, we know that people who have higher levels of education generally earn more than those who have the lowest level of education. Black women are also outpacing Black men in terms of home ownership. Single Black women home ownership is rising, where single Black men home ownership is decreasing. The reason I bring that up is because, generally speaking, homeowners have a much higher net worth than those of renters. So financially, Black women are getting ahead. I'm perplexed by the hate on Black women. I've been taking my son to basketball practice, football practice, cross practice, soccer practice, since he was young enough to play these sports. You're talking 4 or 5 years old. And I'm telling you, every time I go to practice, for every 10 parents, 8 of them are women. Maybe 2 dads are there. When I go to games, 8 out of 10 parents are women, no dads. So I would assume that a lot of you little bastards in there commenting, hating, are probably raised by a single mother. I think I read a statistic somewhere that said that about 70% of Black kids are being raised by a single parent, and the majority of those single parent households are single mothers. So where are all the men at? Me personally, I don't have all this hate for Black women. I just noticed it was something that I've been seeing on Black YouTube and thought I would just share my views on it, because I think it's utter nonsense. Just to be fair and clear, I'm not talking about all Black people in the financial education space or the self-improvement space. I'm just talking about a small subset of people who seem to be focused on hating on Black people and Black women. If you agree with me that you think it's nonsense, I'd like to hear your comments. If you think that my opinion or my thoughts suck, I'd like to hear those as well. In the meantime, take care and be safe out here in these social media streets.